everyone, and welcome to this special pregame edition of The Upset. I'm Angel Salcido, and today I'm joined by Johnny Manacchia, Tristan Deschaines, and his first time on the desk, we have Ryan Ribeiro. Ryan, welcome to the desk.
Thanks for having me.
Gentlemen, we are minutes away from Emerson playoff action. The Lions finished the regular season as the 4 seed in the NEWMAC, and will take the 5th-seeded Coast Guard in the Brown and Plofker gym. What did the Lions do to grab the 4th seed, and what do they need to do going into this game?
Yeah, well, I think for me, overall, I'm not saying that this was a disappointing season, but I think that this team could have been a little bit better. I mean, they only finished 500 in the conference. They have 2 losses that I think really stick out to me. The loss at Clark and then the last loss ex-Coast Guard, which we'll get to in a little bit. But that would have them at 9-5 in the conference. And I think that's more of a representation of what this team is. So I think that that means they're also, going to be still dangerous in this playoffs, just because I think their potential is a little bit better than what their conference record says.
Yeah, they certainly could have been better this season, but also I think more of the issue with them has been consistency. The way that they started out the season, they started out 2-0, then lost 3 straight, and then won 3 straight. They ended the season on a 3-game losing streak. They need to stick to what works. And right now, what's working for them is taking good, clean shots. They're number 1 in the NEWMAC in field goal percentage with 49%. They need to get to the hoop, get to the free throw line. They're 2nd in the NEWMAC in free throw attempts, and just make the easy baskets that they've been making all season long. Get Jack O'Connor going, get Zach Waterhouse going. That's the key to success for this team, and that's what they need to continue to do and stay consistent.
Johnny? Well, here's the tough thing, right? We talk the 4 seed. 4 seed's not easy, right?
No, it's
you
not.
get a home
especially
game.
In the NEWMAC.
We're lucky to have this home playoff game.
Right.
As a 4 seed, the 3 seed is not getting a home playoff seed. We're lucky to get that, maybe build some momentum, moving forward. But we have to play 3 games. The other teams, they just have to play 2. So not only are we going against, if we end up winning, which I believe all of us think we will win, we then have to go on the road twice. And it's not easy to win 3 games. Or 2 on the road, and 3 total. 2 games on the road, if you're a 3 seed, that can happen. But to play 3 games in a matter of like a week, that is tough. That is very tough.
What's interesting with this team is the consistency that Ryan mentioned. Basketball is such an up and down game. We hear it all the time. Basketball is a game of runs. That goes for not only for one game, but the entire season. And at the beginning of the season, we saw the little adjustment period. You lose someone like Jeff Gray, the offense completely changes. And we saw that happen. But we also saw the emergence of a couple of stars. And now we had a couple of transfers and new students come in. Now Max Davis is playing, and he can score it. So that is the name of the game, really, is consistency. Can you perform for 3 games straight? Can you have not only Waterhouse, Nate Martin perform, but also Max Davis, Trevor McClain? Can you get him going? That's going to be the key here.
Yeah, and I think, we mentioned it, like Jack O'Connor, like he was big last year for them, absolutely massive in their run last year, being that second guy for Jeff Gray. But I think, again, last year the Lions had Jeff, and he was their guy.
Yeah.
Jack, he has to be that guy for them in this postseason, because they just need someone that they can put all their faith into, just throw the ball to, and go make something happen. So he's going to be huge for them in this playoff run.
So another interesting thing about this game is that we actually ended up playing Coast Guard in our last game, a road loss against them. So we're going to play them back-to-back here. Is that a good thing, or is that going to be a little more difficult going into this game?
I'm never going to say a loss is a good thing, but I also think that the fact that they know this team now is a little bit better for them. Also, this game was on the road. Johnny mentioned earlier, they're going to have to play 2 games on the road if they win against Coast Guard.
Which is not easy.
They've been 6-7 on the road this year. The one thing that's been consistent for them is their home record. They're 8-4. They've been great. I think it's a good thing for them. They know this Coast Guard team. Also, you had James Beckwith and Max Davis, both young freshman guards, step up last time against Coast Guard. They got limited minutes, but a lot of points out of it. I think that this could be a good thing. I think they come out strong, and I think they really know this team a lot better than they did, maybe the last time they played against each other.
I think the difficult thing with these 2 teams is, and I hate to say it, but they're kind of evenly matched. They kind of are.
Yeah, the games have been close. Every game they played has been close.
It's been 2 close games. They split the series, and maybe we can expect that from good NEWMAC teams, that they split a series. But I think we all thought coming into this season that Emerson would beat a team like Coast Guard, a team that they're supposed to be better than. But it hasn't happened, Tristan.
I mean, so here's the thing. They're 1-1. Their first game, they blew Coast Guard out of the water. I mean, it was 94-75. This last game, I don't think it's a great sign for the Lions, because I think it's a product of that end of the season grind.
Let me
you know what I mean?
get this from you. 105 points.
102.
102 points.
102.99 in 40 minutes. That's not a great look.
I mean, come on.
But here's the thing. I think that's more. I don't think it has anything to do with the team talent-wise. I think talent-wise, Emerson is much better than Coast Guard. But I think it's just the effort, the grind of a basketball season, like playing in the NEWMAC. And I think, in that last game, it was just a little bit of a concentration letdown. And I don't expect that to happen in the playoffs.
No, if anything, it's a good thing. And I say this, I'm gonna be quite frank. Having been an athlete before, when you lose a game to a team, the next game you play against that team, oh my God, you want to come out there and you want to smash them. Especially you're going in playoffs now.
Right, playoffs, and it's on your home court. You just lost on the road, so you got to put all that.
They're going to come out with heat.
Well. And I think this is a little bit similar to the way Emerson played Clark. They had that loss to Clark early in the season, which was like, that's not a good loss. But then they came back and blew him out again. So I think we could be seeing that same thing here.
Okay, so I want to get the key to the Emerson victory. I think we all agree that Emerson was going to take this one. So what is the key from each of you? And what do they need to do to win and then advance later in the playoffs? Ryan, we'll start with you.
I think first off, they need to limit turnovers. They're 3-6 this season when they have 15 or more turnovers at a game. That you can't win the game you cannot win a game if you're giving the ball to the other team consistently. That's just not possible. But also, like I mentioned earlier, get to the free throw line. They're free points. They're 5th in the NEWMAC at free throw percentage, but they're also 2nd in getting to the line. You got to work Jared Houston. He's someone that this team last year stepped up big time for them. They had Max Ashen, but he was actually the big presence that did damage down low. Get it back to him, work him down low, and if you're Jack O'Connor, if you're Zach Waterhouse, you're 2 of the primary scorers on this team. Attack the basket, make them foul you, make them play dirty, and, get clean shots.
Yeah.
Tristan?
Yeah, well, for me, you mentioned his name, Jared Houston. He should just be the key every game for this Lions team. Like,
he's been good.
Like,
man.
I swear, like if he can be the most dominant player in this conference. I think at some point, like next year, maybe the year after, he's going to be the best player in this conference. His height, his physicality, he has all the tools. He's working on it all.
His touch around the rim.
He's got a good touch.
Yeah.
And they just have to feed him early and often. And I mean early in the game as well, but I also mean early in possessions. Like, sometimes they wait to throw him the ball.
Yeah.
Like, they wait a little bit to throw him the ball, and then the double team gets there and it's not open. Like, get it to him down there as soon as possible, because one-on-one, I feel like almost every matchup he gets, he's going to have a chance to win. And then, again, that collapses the whole defense, opens up guys like Jack O'Connor and Zach Waterhouse.
Right, because how many guys are his size in the NEWMAC? Not
Right.
too many.
Yeah,
You're not
exactly.
going one-on-one
And
with
he
Jared
has
Houston.
good skill around the rim, too.
Right.
So.
Yep. Johnny?
To me, the name of the run last year was role players. And a guy like Trevor McClain in the NEWMAC finals stepped up.
Right.
And he provided a good spark. So to me, it's going to be the role players. Can the role players, like a Jared Houston, like a Waterhouse, like a McClain, even to a lesser extent Beckwith and Davis off the bench, can they provide the role that they need to play? And then that's when you say to a Jack O'Connor, get me there. Get me over that hump. But you have to get to that hump in the playoffs. And then you can say, look, Jack, we need you here. We need you here. And I think, if the role players step up, I think they can make a run. I really do. So
To me, my key is going to be production out of the backcourt. So I'm talking McClain and I'm talking Waterhouse more specifically. McClain, I mean, we've all seen it. We've watched him for 2 years now. If he hits early, the entire floor opens.
Oh, it's a different game.
It's literally a different team.
Yeah.
Sure.
If he's not hitting, then teams know they can kind of back off, because he's not the type of player that's going to go out and put up 15 shots. He's going to wait for the game to come to him.
Right.
If he hits early, this team is going to get off to a really hot start. And also Waterhouse. I mean, he's a streaky shooter. We know what he can do on the floor. It's never been a question of if he can play in this league. He could be one of the best conference players next year. I think he is right now, honestly.
Yeah, I would say right now he's
exactly.
He's right up there.
So if he can get hot early, him along with McClain, I don't think they're going to have a problem with this one. So we will move on now to score predictions. Who is going to win this game? I think we know. And what are your final score predictions? Ribeiro, you start.
Well, last time I was at the Lions game, it was also the last time they won. So am I the good luck charm? Who knows? But,
Well, then you better be there.
Yeah, no, I have to be there. I spoke to Trevor McClain, and he told me this team is hungry, especially after last year, the run that they went on. I think they stay hungry. I like Emerson 92, Coast Guard 87.
Okay, Tristan?
Well, for me, I think we still get a pretty good game here, even though I think Emerson's the better team by a lot. But it's the playoffs, man. People play hard. People play differently. So I think the Lions come out on top this one at 90-79.
Okay, Johnny?
I think it's going to be actually a little different of a game. I think the scoring is going to be a little less. Tristan, I'm close with you, but I don't give Emerson 90. I'm going to give them 86. Coast Guard 79.
And I am going to go Emerson 99-92. I think it's going to be a pretty similar score line from last one, but I think they're going to be able to hold the defense together a little bit stronger in the playoffs.
Gotta hope so.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for here in the studio. It's time for some playoff basketball.
Yeah.
ECS coverage of Emerson versus Coast Guard begins right now. Don't go anywhere.
Holden wrecks, rotting in the sun. Throughout the plains, the earth, the barren desert, wasted land. The time has come, we're taking back what's ours. The skies will overflow with vengeful crimson red. Ooh, the war has just begun. Stirring lust for blood that peace won't overcome.
Welcome to the Bobby Brown and Stephen Plofker Gymnasium for a NEWMAC playoff game between the visiting Coast Guard Bears and the host Emerson Lions. I'm Avi Kargloth here courtside. Along with me is Joey Dubois. Joey, how are you doing today, my man?
I'm great. I'm excited. I'm ready to see some basketball, Avi.
Let's get ready to go, man. The NEWMAC playoffs are here once again at the Brown and Plofker Gym, and once again the Emerson Lions are hosting a playoff game after not hosting one in program history prior to last year. The NEWMAC playoffs have 5 teams in the playoffs, and this is the number 4 seed against the number 5 seed. The Emerson Lions, as the host team, will be hosting Coast Guard, and the winner will get to go to Springfield.
Yeah, the winner gets the chance to play Jake Ross in the Springfield Pride, while on the bottom of the bracket you got WPI taking on Babson for the right to play in the NEWMAC final. Emerson coming into last year's tournament as the 2 seed, so a little bit of a different picture for them this year, but they'll still look to make a hard run in this tournament.
And with Emerson as the 4 seed, after having the 2 seed last year, they didn't need to play in this game last year. How does that change their playoff push?
Well, it definitely puts a lot of emphasis on this game. You need to win this one to move on, and you know that this is the last game you will play in this gym regardless of what happens down the line. Last year as the 2 seed, they might have thought that that first home game would have been their last home game, but then after the number 1 seed, MIT, got upset, they had the chance to host another game. But no matter what happens this year, this is the final home game for these Lions, so they got to go out and put on a show for these guys and hopefully come out with a win in the process.
The gym will definitely be rocking today, and this is the final home game of the season for the Lions. This is also the final time they're going to be playing Coast Guard this year, no matter what. This is now going to be their 3rd matchup. They've played twice already, including recently in their last game, and it's really an indicative showing of where each team is going. They're going in opposite directions coming into this one.
Absolutely. Emerson cold right now, losing their past 3, whereas Coast Guard needed that little push towards the end of the season to get them into the playoffs. As you can see, they've won 4 straight, including a big win over Emerson last Saturday. Coast Guard hot, Emerson not really at this point, and we'll see how that plays out here tonight.
Does that change the mentality of this game? It's still win or go home, but are you going to be able to shake off that rust if you're Emerson?
You got to hope so. You got to hope that Emerson, who've been locked into a playoff spot for some time now, maybe they got a little complacent towards the end of that regular season. Now that the pressure's on once again, we'll see if they can flip that switch and become the team that we know that they're capable of being.
Well, you want to talk about knowing an opponent. Emerson can't know this opponent any better. They've played them twice already, including their last game on Saturday. 2 very different results.
Yeah, the first one, as we see here, a home game for the Lions. They won that one 94-75. Just an all-around dominant performance, really, to come out firing in that one. But then, as you said, Avi, Saturday, a very different result as Coast Guard takes that one by a few in a very high-scoring affair. Emerson definitely, as we said, Coast Guard had all that momentum. Emerson maybe not so much. Coast Guard took advantage of it and locked up that playoff spot.
What stock do you put in that last result, knowing that Emerson, they didn't have anything to play for? On the other end, Coast Guard, they had everything to play for. They don't win that game, they're not playing in this game.
I mean, you can't overlook that result, Avi. It's a loss, and it's a loss on your schedule to a good team in Coast Guard who has been competing with just about everyone on their schedule. And they showed on Saturday that while Emerson may not have had all the motivation in the world, they're still capable of beating this team. So Coast Guard is definitely going to come out today and try to show that Saturday was not a fluke, while Emerson is going to try to recapture that magic from that first matchup.
And speaking of capturing the magic, Emerson's got a big guy down low. His name is Jared Houston, and he is one of the most important players to this team offensively, but really the biggest impact he has is on the defensive end.
Yeah, he's blocking 2.2 shots per game to lead the NEWMAC. 54 blocks total on the year for Houston compared to 64 total for all of Coast Guard, Avi.
Whew.
So Houston, an absolute beast in the paint on defense, and that's without even getting into his offense.
Yeah, he's averaging a 69.6% field goal shooting, one of the best in the country, but his blocks have been the key to this defense. Funneling it into him has been the core of the interior defense for the Lions. Coast Guard can't really match that shot blocking.
Yeah, and Emerson's got strong perimeter defense, but I'm sure Houston makes them even look better than they would without him. When you've got a guy, as you said, to funnel into the paint, then you've got Houston sitting there waiting for whoever comes into the lane, and makes everyone else look a whole lot better.
Well, Coast Guard, they got a big guy of their own. His name is Packy Witkowski, and he is here to play one of the top scorers in the NEWMAC.
Yeah, Packy Witkowski is an absolute sniper for the Coast Guard Bears. 17.7 points per game, a lot of it coming from behind the arc. 41.8% from three on 3.4 made three-pointers per game. Witkowski, you can't let him get hot. He's definitely the key to this Coast Guard offense.
And he's an excellent free throw shooter as well, one of the best in the league, hitting over 90% of his shots from the free throw line.
Yeah, Witkowski definitely what keeps this offense going, but you can't overlook Noah Baldez as well, Avi. We've been talking about him in preparation for this. 12.7 points per game to go along with 4.8 rebounds and 4 assists. He runs the show for these Bears. He sets everyone else up, and he'll be looking to set up Witkowski and the rest of these Bears tonight.
Well, Witkowski's going to be a part of Coast Guard's starting lineup. Meanwhile, for Emerson's starting lineup, Emerson, they've had basically the same starting lineup for most of the season, with O'Connor and the 4 sophomores flanking him.
Yeah, O'Connor definitely the star for this team, leading the way in points, second in rebounds, and leading it in assists, but you cannot overlook these 4 sophomores who played a pivotal role on the NEWMAC champions last year and are doing much of the same this year as well.
These guys can do a little bit of everything. There's not one big strength across all these guys. What are the different ingredients that you see in Emerson's starting lineup that have made it so Coach Curley wants to keep that same starting 5?
I think it's really just the way they complement each other, Avi. You've got O'Connor, who can really do a little bit of everything. Obviously, he's a scorer first and foremost, but the way he sets up his teammates is admirable as well. And then you got McLean, who's really kind of that steady presence at the point guard spot. He'll guard the opposing point guard all the way up the court, never makes anything easy on them. Waterhouse, we've all seen the highlights. He can bang out when capable. Also a great shooter, a great scorer from all levels. Martin kind of gives you more of that perimeter defense and energy, and when he's in the open floor, watch out, folks, as well. And Houston, we can't say enough about what he brings with his size on both ends of the floor.
Emerson, they've had the same starting lineup throughout most of the season. On the other end, though, Coast Guard, they change up their lineup quite a lot. We're not really going to know what the starting lineup is until right beforehand.
Yeah, Coast Guard's only got one guy who started every game. That's Justin Kane. Packy Witkowski, the top scorer, has even come off the bench for 5 games, and Baldez coming off the bench for 1 game as well. So we never really know who will this starting 5 be for the Coast Guard Bears, but there are some of their top performers, and whoever they put out there, they managed to gel, they managed to compete, and that's what's got them into the playoffs.
Well, if the starting lineup is going to be changing and fluid, there definitely is going to be some issues and questions about depth. If you look at Emerson, though, their depth is based in youth. Talk to me about the underclassmen on this Lions team.
Yeah, Emerson is all about youth, and obviously O'Connor and Ben Holding, 2 big seniors for this team. You can't understate their impacts on this team this year and the program as a whole. But when you're looking at the youth, the future is bright for these Emerson Lions. Zach Waterhouse, Nate Martin, Trevor McLean, Jared Houston, all those guys we just said, not to mention the freshmen coming off the bench making huge impacts this year. James Beckwith, Max Davis, Ben Allen, just to name a few of these guys. So Emerson, definitely what you look for in a program. To have that mix of experience and young guys, it really makes for an interesting team and one that hopefully we see pull out a win today.
Well, you just talked a lot about the youth. We actually got a chance to sit down with one of the seniors of this team, Jack O'Connor, to talk about his career at Emerson and what it's going to be like to go against the Bears for the third time. Jack, thanks so much for sitting down. Appreciate the time. You're a Rhode Island kid, so I gotta ask: Devil's Frozen Lemonade and coffee milk. Which two you prefer? Which of the two you prefer?
Definitely Devil's Frozen Lemonade. It's always definitely a specialty in the summer.
Definitely a delicacy. Good choice. Good choice. So first of all, how you feeling? What's your mindset going into tomorrow's game?
I feel really good, and I feel like our team's in a good spot right now. We're sort of all excited to start the postseason, and especially to have a home game is exciting for everyone on the team that was here last year and for people with their first opportunity to play at home. So.
The last 2 years, you've had some big recruiting classes. What's impressed you most about the underclassmen, the younger guys on this team?
I'm definitely impressed by how ready they came in to play and compete in college basketball. Definitely they're asked to do a lot, which isn't easy. And so just watching them grow sort of as players, like the leaps they've made in terms of their individual improvement, while it might only show a little bit statistically or whatever, they have made like a ton of progress in terms of their complete like basketball player identity and whatnot.
You and the team, your focus is on tomorrow's game, as it should be. But at some point, you're going to look back on everything that you've done at Emerson. What will stand out the most to you when you look back on your time at Emerson?
I think the overall journey and sort of the progress we've made as like a program. I'm definitely proud of like my individual accomplishments, but more as what like we've been able to do as a team, and just sort of seeing that translate to success on the floor, and like being able to have like lifelong friendships with them is like more than all the like accomplishments we have gotten. And again, hopefully we do win again and all that would be awesome, but sort of that will stand out to me as like the bonds that I built with some of these guys. So.
All right, now we're going to take a look at the last time that Emerson faced off against Coast Guard. We'll look at some film with Joey Dubois.
All right, Jack, so you guys love to get out and running in transition, and even after a made basket, as we see here, Trev gets it, kicks it to you on the wing, you go all the way to the rack. Talk me through why you guys like running so much.
It sort of helps us, I think, offensively. We're more of a rhythm team, so if we can get out and run and get easy shots, then I think it sort of loosens up everything else for like our shooters and whatnot. We can get like some easy buckets early.
So here, yeah, as you said right there, you love to pound Houston. Here's, you get it on the wing, you get the screen and roll from Houston, you find him down low. How big of a part of the game will Houston be tomorrow night?
I think he's definitely a big piece because they play like an undersized center, which sort of gives them like a lot of mobility and flexibility offensively. But in terms of defensively, it puts them at like a huge disadvantage. So I think if we can establish Big Jared, that'll definitely be a big thing for our team as well.
And Jack, you're definitely the leader of this team. You see a tough foul call there, and you called these guys together, tie game in the first half still. What are you telling them at this point?
So on this specific play, it was, this is like a great example of like kids with a lot of talent and sort of adjusting towards the college basketball. Max and JB, they're both like phenomenal freshmen. They're playing great, but sort of defensive assignments and like knowing the scout, like right there, like 25 is like a big man, and we're like rushing out on him. It gets by you. It's like if you like knew he's just a big man, wants to like finish at the cup. So sort of that, like when I brought everyone in, sort of re-emphasize, like, all right, know our personnel who we're covering, and then I think on this play they got like 2 offensive rebounds, and so like you said, when playing Coast Guard, they're tough. They might not have a ton of size, but they have a ton of like effort and hustle plays. So you gotta match their hustle plays with box outs and rebounds. So I think that's what I was saying when we brought it in there. And, this game, we didn't really make that adjustment. They still sort of beat us up on the boards and whatnot. But I think now, after seeing that on film and whatnot, Wednesday, we'll be able to like adjust and box out. Sort of, yeah, here it is again, the offensive.
Yeah.
And then I think he like gets a backdoor cut here. See, like he should be like all the way in the paint.
Yeah.
So just little things like that.
We're all rooting for you, so
sure.
Check it out on Emerson Channel Sports. Thanks again, Jack, for sitting down with me.
A huge thank you to Jack for sitting down and talking to us. Tip-off is next. Don't go anywhere.
be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the site of competition. Also, consumption or possession of alcoholic beverages and tobacco products is prohibited. We ask that at this time you please rise for the playing of our national anthem. Let's meet tonight's starters. From Coast Guard, sophomore guard.
Welcome back to the Brown and Plofker Gymnasium, where once again the Emerson Lions are ready to take on the Coast Guard Bears as the starting lineups are being introduced. For the Emerson Lions, Trevor McLean, Jack O'Connor, Nate Martin, Zach Waterhouse, and Jared Houston, the starters as per usual. For Coast Guard, their starting lineup will look like this. Noah Baldez wearing number 3. Wearing number 11 is Garrett Drummond. Packy Witkowski wearing number 12. Justin Kane wearing number 22, and number 32, Tyler Perez. The gym is packed, Joey. Fans and students, parents, they're all here ready to see a do-or-die finish. The atmosphere is ripe for a great game.
And it's still filling in, Avi. You got to think the atmosphere is only going to get crazier once this thing gets started. We saw what it was like last year here, Avi. It got pretty crazy, and I'm excited to see if we can reach that same level again here tonight.
Definitely, for sure. And this is a Coast Guard team, although they are 3-8 on the road this year. That doesn't mean anything. You can throw out the records in this one. The crowd doesn't care about the records. They don't care how many times you've won or lost in this building or how many times you played them. It is all about the now. The Emerson students are here. They're wearing white. They're here to support the team. Joey, you were in the crowd last year during the run. Talk to me about what that experience was like for you and the fans.
Really, it's unlike any experience I've had as a fan, Avi, and it's not to say that it was bigger than I've been to Celtics games and whatnot. It's not bigger than that. I'm not gonna lie about that. But when you know the guys out there on the court and you have that Emerson connection to them, being in the stands, it just really presents a whole different experience. And like I said, I think whoever's in the stands tonight who wasn't here last year, I think they'll get an experience that they'll always remember here tonight.
We'll talk about them later in the broadcast, but for the Emerson Lions head coach Bill Curley, he's been with this program for quite some time now. He's one of the best in the business. He won the NEWMAC Coach of the Year last year. On the other end, you've got Kevin Jaskowitz. It's going to be very interesting to see how these lineups are shifted in and out throughout.
Yeah, it's obviously a chess match, and we've already talked about Coast Guard, how they change their starting lineup from game to game, and you got to think that these 5 guys won't be out there for the whole time. So Jaskowitz, as you said, he's going to be making moves at all times to adjust, and you got to think a lot of those adjustments might center around Jared Houston and what he does to this team.
We are just about set to tip this one off. And a poor throw. So the start of this do-or-die game will be delayed just a minute.
How fitting.
How fitting indeed. And we'll try it again, and now we are underway here at the Brown and Plofker Gym. Glad you're aboard with us here on Emerson Channel Sports. And Houston gets the ball up top, trying to get to Waterhouse. Swings the other way to Martin, and now O'Connor controls. O'Connor, one of the top scorers in the NEWMAC, and his runner is short. Rebounded by Coast Guard. And Joey, this is going to be an interesting back-and-forth matchup. What are your keys to this one?
Well, as Kane hits a big three there to give Coast Guard the lead. I got 3 keys to the game for the Lions. Number 1, you got to feed Jared Houston. The big man's got a 5-inch advantage over the next tallest guy. He's got to be getting the ball time and time again. Second, you got to get hot from deep because they will collapse on Houston. You got to have those shooters ready to go outside. And you got to match the physicality of this Coast Guard team. Goes without saying, this is a military school. These are tough kids. You got to match that physicality from the jump.
McLean, a ball fake. His 3 is long. Houston tried to tip it back in, and the Bears get a stop. Witkowski to Drummond. And he rattles that 3 home from the corner, and the first 6 points belong to the Bears.
And not to start the Lions won, obviously. Coast Guard getting hot from deep. They're a good 3-point shooting team. Maybe they're the ones that get the shooters going early. We don't want to see that if we're the Lions.
Here goes O'Connor down the lane. Not that time. And the offensive rebound tapped out by Houston.
Emerson getting good shots. Some of these will fall as the game goes on.
Here goes O'Connor. Swing pass. McLean open for 3, and he connects.
Cutting the lead right in half right there. That's just what the Lions needed before this one went all in Coast Guard's favor.
And Justin Kane hit the deck, and he's got blood on his head. And just a minute and a half into this one, and Kane is going to need to be looked at as blood is coming down fast from his face. He is disappointed, and he's going right to the locker room.
Yeah, and you hate to see that. Kane definitely the best matchup for Houston for Coast Guard. If he's out, that's a big hit to this Coast Guard team, and now it looks like we'll have a timeout on the floor to clean up that mess over there.
Yeah, and that's why we have the student volunteers who are here to clean up the mess, and we hope Justin Kane is all right. He has started in every game for the Bears this year. He's the only one to do so. We'll be right back after this. We're back just 95 seconds into this NEWMAC playoff game, and we've already got an injury and some extracurricular activity. A big round of applause is definitely deserved for the people that are cleaning that up. We've got great volunteers here at Emerson that are helping to clean this mess up, and unfortunate for Kane, we'll monitor his injury and we'll see if he comes back. Meanwhile, JT Cox has come in to replace Kane.
Cox, a strong player, 5.8 points on the year. He'll definitely look to contribute for the Bears.
There goes Drummond right at McLean for 2 more. He's got 5 early points.
Drummond definitely a spark plug for this Bears team, and we're seeing it early on.
A pick and roll between Houston and O'Connor. He gets met at the top.
Houston can't leave it hanging like that out there. He's got to hold on to it strong and go up even stronger.
Valdez. Witkowski thought about that. Got Houston a bump. Now there goes Drummond. And before the shot, a whistle. A foul. It's going to be called on Zach Waterhouse, his first.
And it will be interesting to watch Houston on defense, as now they don't really have a true interior presence out there for the Bears. So Houston might be forced to defend more on the perimeter. He's definitely more comfortable defending on the block.
Drummond will inbound. It looks like he's going to be matched up on McLean for the time being. Perez lost it. He hits the deck, gets it over to Witkowski. And Witkowski going right at Houston, and he missed that shot. Houston went straight up.
We talked about it earlier, O'Connor funneling right into Houston, and he's there to deny the shot at the rim.
Martin spins, backs up, back iron, no good. Rebound tapped out to Waterhouse. Straightaway 3 from O'Connor, no. And the Bears come away with the rebound.
Emerson cold early on, but as we've said, Avi, a lot of good shots.
Cox going right at Houston. And another forced miss. They're going to challenge Houston all game. Waterhouse gets met at the top by Baldez. Recovered by the Bears, and Baldez emerges with it. What a defensive play.
Yeah, Coast Guard's got all the energy right now, even with Kane going down, as Baldez strikes again, and a foul called there.
Baldez slipped through the defense. Foul's going to be called. Another one on Waterhouse. That's 2 early fouls for last year's NEWMAC Rookie of the Year.
And a guy who was really clutch down the stretch in those playoff games. And as you see James Beckwith checking in, you got to think he's grabbing Waterhouse. It's a big hit to the Lions early in this first half.
Noah Baldez, the senior from Lower Gwinnett, Pennsylvania, standing at 6'3", can do a little bit of everything. At the free throw line, Witkowski will take a seat. And coming in the game is Sean Graydock for the Bears. Meanwhile, Beckwith replaces Waterhouse.
And there right
hits the second.
Right away, we see some of that unconventional subbing patterns from Coast Guard as Witkowski, without a point, he's the leading scorer on this team, but he'll come out only 3 minutes in.
Lions need some offense, down 7 early. McLean looking for someone and finds Martin. And a foul away from the basketball. I believe that's going to be on J.T. Cox, fouling Houston.
And we're seeing how tough it is to contain Houston. They've done a great job so far, but you got to think that eventually Houston will snap back into this one.
Well, there he goes in the post. Faking, kicking. O'Connor. Not that time. He's missed all 4 of his first shots. Drummond not slowing down. Passes out of the shot. A swing pass. An open shot on the elbow. That's missed by Perez. And the rebound was touched last by Cox. Lions get the ball back.
And great ball movement there from Coast Guard. You saw Drummond thinking he had an open layup, but there was Houston. He didn't hesitate, though. Kicked it out the extra pass to Perez. He can't get the shot to go, but this Coast Guard offense is moving very fluidly right now.
Speaking of can't get the shot to go, Joey, O'Connor 0 for 4 to start this game. What do you make of that?
Well, he's getting the open looks, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but he's a good scorer. He's a good shooter. We know that he can make these shots, so as this game goes on, they will fall.
O'Connor glides to the hole, and right on cue, the senior from Rhode Island has his first points in the playoffs.
And that's a good way to get his confidence going. Get inside, then work it back out, getting the 2 to go there. We'll see how he moves on from there.
Baldez. It looked like Perez shuffled his shoes a little bit. It was poked out of bounds. It will stay Bears ball.
Good hands by O'Connor. Nothing easy on the Bears right now.
We've got our first media timeout on the floor. Coast Guard 10, Emerson 5, opening minutes of the NEWMAC playoffs. Back at the Brown and Plofker gym, where Coast Guard is doubling up Emerson in the opening minutes, 10-5. Still no update on the Justin Kane injury, who left with a bloody head. As play resumes here, they get the inbound to Cox, and the turnaround shot is missed. McLean skies for the rebound. O'Connor, Beckwith, no hesitation. Not that time.
And you heard all the Coast Guard coaches pointing at Beckwith all the way up the court. He's still got an open look, just couldn't get it to go.
Beckwith, the top three-point shooter in the NEWMAC. He's the only freshman even in the top 10 in three-point percentage in the conference.
47.4% from deep, an absolute deadeye. And he can get it done on the defensive end too, Avi.
Sean Graydock, the guilty party. He traveled. And a forced turnover for the Lions. Trevor McLean will take a seat as there was Beckwith shuffling his feet well.
And Max Davis running the show now. He had a huge game on Saturday against these Bears, 20 points. I believe he hit 5 threes in that one.
Here's Ben Holding in the game for the first time. A pass to the corner to Martin. Nate Martin rattles into 3. There he goes.
Martin not known for his shooting, but he can get hot, and we saw it there.
Here goes Perez working on O'Connor. Fakes and goes right under O'Connor for 2.
Yeah, Perez not the leading scorer for this team, but averaging double digits, he can hit those shots.
Davis puts down his shoulder, and he put it down too hard. An offensive foul on Max Davis.
It's a tough call there for the Lions. Davis trying hard to the cup. It's his first playoff game, so you know he's trying to assert himself. Call not going his way that time.
Exiting the game is Sean Graydock for the Coast Guard Bears. Packy Witkowski returns. Their leading scorer coming into this game. He's got 2 boards and 2 assists, no points yet. And he gets the ball off a screen, finds Baldez on the baseline. He goes around Holding, and it just dripped off the rim.
And with Houston out, you got to think the Bears will be attacking the rim as Davis does a
Up
save.
and under, Max Davis. O'Connor with a great feed in transition. Davis did a great job using the rim as a shield. Drummond goes the other way over Martin. Rebound by Beckwith.
Martin not leaving an inch of space there.
Down the court to Martin. Martin steps into a 3. Another one for Nate Martin. 2 threes in the opening minutes.
Do not let Nate Martin get hot from deep. He gives Emerson the lead off of his second 3 there.
Perez drives, contact, but no foul. Baldez in the right place at the right time. Lays it in with the left hand.
And that should have been a travel there as Perez got his own rebound off the air ball. They missed the call, and Coast Guard gets 2.
Interesting you say that, Joey. Coast Guard was hoping for a foul in that possession. So conflicting views based on who you're rooting for in this one. And there goes Davis, baseline. A no-look feed in the corner. Beckwith! Yes, sir! What a play! Max Davis is fired up. James Beckwith is fired up. The freshmen are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, we talked about the youth, and there you see it on full display. An early highlight in this one. Emerson regains the lead.
Witkowski too strong. A foul is going against the Bears. And now you see the home court advantage taking its feel.
Yeah, you knew it was only a matter of time before this one tightened back up, and now we're getting the game that we expected to see back in 4th.
Jason Frazier in the game for the first time for the Bears, wearing number 30, as he just checked in. Max Davis, though, he's made quite a couple of impressive plays that have gotten the student section out of their seat.
Yeah, Davis is definitely a highlight machine. He's got tremendous length, so we've seen him more than a few times this year get going with the handles and get some space there with the pass along the baseline. A great play.
O'Connor, Beckwith, off the screen. Not that time. The place really would have been loud had that gone down, and Madison Maloney in the game for the first time. He lets that ball go out of bounds. A lot of quick substitutions for the Bears early on.
Yeah, they're keeping their guys fresh, and these guys are well conditioned, you can tell, but still to keep them fresh gives them fresh legs at all times out there and keeps the Emerson defense guessing.
Frazier gives back to Baldez. Inside Maloney, give and go with Noah Baldez. A great design play for Coast Guard. Davis controlling the offense. Beckwith, no hesitation, drives. A deep 3 from Davis. Front rimmed it, and a good box out leads to a Witkowski rebound. He goes right at Beckwith, flips it up, missed it. Holding the rebound, back and forth we go. Gives to Martin. Martin, up and in, and the foul.
And Holding, not your traditional point guard, Avi, but there on the break, running the show, finds Martin as Martin keeps this hot streak going early on.
Holding, one of the 2 seniors on this team. And the 2 seniors, Holding and O'Connor, head to the bench first. Momentum, all Emerson's right now with just under 12 minutes to go in the first half. Joey, Emerson was able to get punched in the mouth early. Holding, finding Martin on the break, and the Lions lead by 2. Lions lead the Bears by 2. Nate Martin has been the spark plug so far for the Lions. He's got 8 early points, and he's looking for 9 heading to the free throw line.
Yeah, and you can look at Martin's numbers, only averaging 10.9 points per game, and maybe overlook him a little bit, but we've seen time and time again, when he's hot, he is very hard to stop. And tonight might be one of those nights for him. Avi, 9 points after that made free throw. Hopefully he can keep this momentum going.
Martin also drawing the defensive assignment of Noah Baldez, and Baldez misses that shot over Martin. Jared Houston is back in the game, and here goes Davis, who shoved off with the left arm. Coast Guard was looking for an offensive foul, but they will get the travel. They'll settle for that result as Davis shuffled his shoes. In the game for the first time, making his playoff debut, is Ben Allen, the freshman from New Hampshire. He went to the same high school as Zach Waterhouse.
Yeah, and you got to think that those playoff games last year, Ben Allen must have been watching those. Probably a big reason why he chose to come and play at Emerson.
Baldez on the drive, gives to Maloney. He passes out of that shot. A catch and shoot 3 is missed by Perez, and Baldez gets the rebound.
Emerson can't be giving up second possessions, especially when Houston's in the game.
Baldez blocked by Houston, but a foul. And that's going to be on the big fella.
I got to see that one again, Avi. I thought if anything maybe on Beckwith down low, but it looked like Houston was straight up. Let's see here.
I don't know. The only thing I could think of, Joey, is if he didn't give him enough space to land. That's the only thing I could see.
Yeah, well, it's very possible. This Coast Guard's got a substitution, and that's Justin Kane. His numbers doubled up. Looks like he must have gotten a little bit of blood on his jersey, but he's number 44 now, back in there with the Band-Aid over his left eye.
That's pretty incredible. Coming back into the game with the jersey number that is double the one that you left with.
Maybe he's twice the player.
I don't care what the situation is. That's something to me. As Baldez hits both free throws, and a substitution as Baldez will get subbed out for Drummond. Baldez has given his team some great minutes early. He's got 8 points and 4 boards. He's going to be a problem all evening.
Yeah, neither of the top scorers have really gotten going for either team, but Baldez stepping up for Coast Guard. Martin on Emerson. It's really keeping this one close.
Post up against Drummond. There goes Martin. His banker is short. Allen tried to get the rebound, but it squirts out of bounds. Bears ball.
But you got to think the Lions will exploit that matchup every time they have it. Martin with a 6-inch height advantage over Drummond. If he's got him in the post, he's making that 9 out of 10 times.
Drummond on the other end, guarded by O'Connor. O'Connor switched on to Witkowski. Kane, his jumper, no. It leaks out, and Witkowski comes away with it. A couple of leaky rebounds early on from both squads. And Drummond now looking at 2 bodies. Witkowski drives, stops, nearly traveled. Back to Kane, single-digit shot clock. 6 seconds to shoot. Swings to Frazier in the corner, and it's wide.
And that is a huge defensive possession for the Lions. You can't play a much better defense than they did right there.
And the women's team on Emerson also with a playoff game. They're going on right now in the first quarter. It's 2019. Meanwhile, here, Ben Allen driving to the hoop hard for his first playoff points, a reverse layup.
Yeah, close games for both the men and the women here as Coast Guard ties it right back up.
Tyler Perez cans his first 3. Back and forth we go. Once again, these 2 teams combined for over 200 points on Saturday. So we could be in the cards for another high-scoring game. Beckwith left it short on the baseline drive.
And Coast Guard really letting Emerson drive along that baseline. We saw a great finish from Allen the play before, but that's a tough shot. Maybe Coast Guard will be giving that all game.
Perez driving, and that shot rolls off the rim and then rolled off his arms, rolling all the way into the arms of James Beckwith. O'Connor thought about firing that 3 off. Instead hands to Houston. Houston gives to Allen. O'Connor now to Houston, backing down Kane. 1 dribble, 2 dribble. Houston the hook shot. You can't stop that. You can teach size. You can teach skill. You can't teach height, Joey.
And all he's got to do is reach over the top. It seemed like he forgot how big of a height advantage he had for a minute there, but once he realized it, it was easy money.
Perez, shadowed by Allen. Perez backing down, fades off the side of the backboard. Great defense from Allen.
And Perez is a good scorer, but if that's the shot these Bears get every possession, I'm sure the Lions will be okay with that.
Martin looking to find Houston on the post-up. Kane missed the steal, and a blocking foul called. That would have been a huge call if that went against Emerson.
Yeah, that is a tough call against the Bears there. You saw Kane selling out for that steal. Houston sees the lane, and yeah, a lot of contact there. You make the call at home, folks, but the referees call this one in the Lions' favor.
Tyler Perez, the guilty party. He will be subbed out for Noah Baldez. Nate Martin and Ben Allen exit the game as Trevor McLean and Ben Holding return off a screen. Inside now to Holding, and Holding's left-handed hook too strong.
And zone action there defensively for the Bears off the inbound. We saw a little bit of that on Saturday. Maybe they'll look to that as this game goes on.
Drummond, Kane, Frazier fakes. A lot of good ball movement for the Bears, and Kane gets bumped. That's O'Connor who's going to get called for the foul, his first.
Yeah, only his first, so not the end of the world there, but that was a good defensive possession by the Lions, just recovering every chance they had. The foul at the very end, though, will keep it Bears ball.
Jared Houston subbed out again, and Steven Fabrizio, another freshman getting playoff minutes from Duxbury, Mass., the same place where Coach Curley's from.
Yeah, Fabrizio's been getting more time as this year has gone on. Very strong defensively, very good athlete, and getting some serious action here in the playoffs.
Ben Holding a quick whistle as he grabbed the arm of Kane. And another substitution will be coming after the break. Timeout on the floor. Emerson and Coast Guard in a close one early. Lions so far lead by 2. Back with 8 minutes to go in the first half. The Lions lead 23-21. Joey, we've seen some back and forth play on the scoreboard and quite literally on the floor. These teams are running up and down the hardwood. What have you seen so far? As we've got some pushing before the ball's even inbounded between Kane and Holding. But what have you seen so far, Joey?
Well, they've been moving with pace, both teams, but both teams also shooting under 40% from the field. You can see kind of those playoff nerves. A lot of these Coast Guard guys have not been in the playoffs, but not a whole lot of nerves there from Witkowski.
Packy Witkowski, a tough three, was well defended, and he still knocks it down. The Bears go back up by 1. And they're looking for another post-up. Fabrizio on the left elbow. Here goes Beckwith. 9 seconds to shoot. Top of the arc jumper. Back iron missed. And Kane comes away with the rebound.
And that's a tough shot right there. You don't practice that one too much. Just a step inside of the three-point line. Beckwith with a tough one. Doesn't get it to go.
Kane up and under, misses. And Fabrizio is going to get called for the blocking foul. So free throws for Justin Kane, who's back in this game after a bloody head, and he's playing just as hard as he was before.
Yeah, if you get a cut right above your eye, obviously some players might come back a little timid, but I think these Coast Guard kids are wired a little different as you see Kane get out there throwing his body on the line. That's what you got to do in a playoff game.
Kane misses the first. Houston and Martin return for the Lions. as Fabrizio and Beckwith, the two freshmen, head to the bench. Take another look, Joey, at this Witkowski three. Holding was there the whole time. Can't argue with that effort, just not the results you wanted.
Yeah, Witkowski, the 4th leading scorer in Coast Guard history. He was scoreless up until that shot, but maybe that will get him going in this one as Coast Guard expands on their lead.
Kane splits the pair of free throws. Baldez right up in the face of O'Connor. McLean sees an opening, drives, and the floater goes down. Trevor McLean.
And you saw there a lot of attention being paid to Houston. Drummond flew out on McLean. He beat the closeout, got the easy 2.
Drummond goes right at Trevor, and his shot was too hard and rebounded by O'Connor. Here comes Trevor McLean down the lane. Back out to O'Connor. It was poked loose and stolen by Drummond. And a bit of a frustration foul there by O'Connor. That's his 2nd. A big play made there by Garrett Drummond.
And that means 2 fouls on O'Connor and 2 on Waterhouse as well. 2 of the top scoring options for these Lions as O'Connor went ahead to the bench. Martin's been hot. He'll have to be the source of the offense for this group unless they can get Houston going down low.
Madison Maloney comes back in to replace Justin Kane. Free throws coming for Garrett Drummond.
An interesting difference between these lineups right now. Coast Guard going pretty small when Emerson has both Holding and Houston out there. So we will see how they can contain these 2 big guys.
Drummond was shooting a 1-and-1 as Coast Guard's now in the bonus, and he missed that free throw, so that's why only 1 shot for Drummond. McLean working on Drummond, gives it to Davis. A corner 3, no. Witkowski the rebound. Baldez is off and running. Finds a man open on the right wing, and it's missed. That's number 20, Jack Brunswick, who's in the game for the first time for the Bears. Davis gives a jab step. He goes right to the rim, and he lays it in. Rolls around the rim before dropping. Max Davis has played some huge minutes off the bench. Back the other way, an open 3 from Brunswick. Houston closed out hard, but couldn't quite get there, and we are just going back and forth.
Yeah, back to that Davis basket. He's been called for an offensive foul and a travel, but you can tell he's still going hard to the cup. Not a whole lot of playoff jitters for Davis.
Davis off a screen, the primary playmaker on the court right now. Martin feeds Houston on the left block. He goes baseline, turns, and he gets fouled. He was getting hit all over the place before a whistle finally came, and it will come against Madison Maloney.
Yeah, and Houston's been cleaning up the glass. 6 rebounds for him, but still only 4 points on 3 shots. We talked about it, Avi. Based off just looking at the heights of either team, you would think Houston would be a focal point, but Coast Guard playing him tough whenever they can, even here, making this one tough and putting him on the line for 2.
Jared Houston at the free throw line where he shoots 69.1% on the season. No good on that, and it's indicative when your field goal percentage is higher than your free throw percentage, Joey.
Just noticed that, Avi. You don't see that too often with many players, but when Houston's 4th in the country in field goal percentage, you might run into a funny stat like that, as there you see the 3 from Brunswick. Once again, Coast Guard getting contributions up and down their bench. It's the reason they're up right now.
Justin Kane grabs the rebound. He's back in after a quick breather. Baldez got free and drops it in with the left hand. Houston was not happy about the miscommunication, apparently, with Nate Martin.
And Baldez then glided up into the air as well. Looked like he might have thrown that down, but instead of the nice finger rolls, Coast Guard's off and running again.
Davis lost it. Drummond to Baldez. He got hit on the way up, and more free throws coming for Baldez. He's been to the line twice already. And he glides right into Holding. Holding picks up his 2nd personal. And Emerson will call a quick 30-second timeout, so we'll stay here with just under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Coast Guard, they lead by 3, Joey. Baldez has been getting the free throw line quite a lot. He's 4 for 4. He's been doing it all. He's the guy that has been a problem in transition so far for the Lions. How is Emerson supposed to deal with this guard who's going to be able to move quickly up and down from baseline to baseline.
Well, we're talking about foul trouble with the Lions. 9 fouls as a team, 2 on O'Connor and 2 on Waterhouse. So maybe they're playing a little soft right now, trying not to run up that foul tally any more than they already have. That's the biggest thing that comes to my mind. And when I'm looking at Coast Guard, I got to give them a shout out for the way they're taking care of the ball. Only 1 turnover as a team 15 minutes into this one. Emerson loves getting those steals and getting out in transition. That's where they find a lot of their offense. Coast Guard knew that coming in, and they've taken care of the ball.
Valdez at the line. Rolls off the first, and another interesting storyline that is developing so far is O'Connor, who has just 2 points for the Lions. He's shooting 1 for 5. He's missed on both of his threes. He does have 3 assists and 3 rebounds, but where they really need him is on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and we know with O'Connor, even if he's not scoring, he will be contributing in other ways. But like you said, Nate Martin had a nice little run there, but Emerson really needs a guy to step up and sustain this offense for the rest of the game. O'Connor's been that guy all year. Can he do the same tonight?
After Valdez splits the free throws, the Bears go up by 4. Martin feeds Houston. Houston, and 1! Jared Houston bullying his way to the basket. The Coast Guard double team came a little too late, and the foul goes against Drummond.
And there it is, Avi. That's what I've been waiting on. Emerson passing it around. Obviously, if any of those wing players had an open shot, they would have let it fly. But the agenda the whole time was looking for Houston down low, and it's all about patience. Eventually, that lane opened up. They found him. Now he's at the line looking to convert on the three-point play.
And the free throw is missed, and going down the court, Drummond with a little bit of a flop there, and he got called for the personal foul in that defensive possession.
You'll be getting a letter from the commissioner tomorrow morning, Ozzy.
Not that kind of league, Joey. As Drummond spins around McLean, they lost him, and he got to the rim for 2 more.
Drummond's been that spark plug this whole game. 7 points now for him.
Martin poked away by Valdez. A great defensive play from the senior. Down the other way comes Kane. Driving on Houston. Ran out of room. A kick out 3. Missed by Brunswick. And a big rebound for Houston.
Emerson needed that stop. Now they'll try to convert on the other end.
Martin, left corner. Not that time, as he had made his first 2 shots from beyond the arc. Witkowski behind the back, shook McLean. Gives it to Kane. Kane, a swing pass now back to Witkowski. McLean stumbles. Witkowski misses. And a whistle by the referee. They didn't appear to call a foul on anyone. And a little confusing as to why the referee called the whistle, and I believe it has to do with Justin Kane.
Yeah, it seems like more blood coming from Kane's face. He'll have to come out once again.
So Trevor McLean popped up for the defensive rebound on both those possessions after getting knocked down. We've got 3:25 to go in the first half, and Coast Guard still leads by 4. If you're Coach Curley, what are you saying to your guys at this point?
I'd be telling them just ride out this half. Try to get the lead, but at the very least, keep it within 5 or so points. You've got O'Connor and Waterhouse, each with 2 fouls. Waterhouse hasn't played in a long time for these Lions. O'Connor had a bit of a spell on the bench as well. So you just need to get to the second half with this one still within striking distance, so those 2 guys can go back out there and be their aggressive selves, because right now, to be honest, they're kind of compromised, each with those 2 fouls.
On the other end, though, you've got Coast Guard, Kevin Jaskowitz. If you're him, what are you saying to him? They've done a good job blocking out the noise so far. They've got a nice little crowd here. What are you saying to your guys able to hold a 4-point lead?
Well, it's got to be the very opposite. You got to look at this as an opportunity to expand on this lead. That 5 that Emerson has out there right now, it's O'Connor, Allen, Martin, Davis, and Houston. Not a group that's played a whole lot together. Only 3 out of the 5 starters out there. So this is a chance for Coast Guard to expand on this lead before halftime and head in with a lot of confidence.
Davis, O'Connor, Houston, Martin, and Ben Allen all on the court for the Lions. Valdez, Witkowski, Drummond, and back in the game is Tyler Perez for Coast Guard. Also And there's Ben Allen working in the post. A big bucket for the freshman.
And Emerson going big, no McLean means Drummond has a significant height disadvantage against whoever he's guarding. Emerson exploiting it there.
Jake Brunswick misses that bank shot. Baldes beat everyone to the ball, and Davis came back to steal it back.
Great heart by Davis there, getting back into the play, and Emerson will now slow it down on the other end.
Martin into Houston. Houston goes at Perez, and before the shot will count, a foul is going to go against Tyler Perez, and we know the offensive playbook now for the Lions. It's feed the big fella, Jared Houston.
And as we're seeing this develop, you got to think eventually, as we talked about earlier, the Bears will adjust. They'll double down. That'll leave the shooters open. We haven't seen a whole lot of threes go down for the Lions yet, only 4 of 11, but those shots will open up the more they double down on Houston.
Foul is on Tyler Perez. That's his second foul. Jack Brunswick getting subbed out for the Bears, replaced by Sean Graydock. And the 1-and-1 free throw is missed by Houston.
And the clear deficiency for the Lions right now has been at the line. Houston 0 for 4. They're putting him on the line, and he's just simply not executing right now.
Davis deflected that pass. Witkowski saves it. Baldes finds Drummond. Ball fake. Back to Witkowski. Off the dribble. Misses. Houston collects another rebound.
Emerson all over the place there defensively. That's what they'll need going forward.
A pick and roll. O'Connor finds Houston, and another foul. O'Connor clapping his hands in support as more free throws coming for the big fella, Jared Houston.
And if Houston keeps getting to the line, that's good in one sense. It shows Emerson's controlling the game, controlling the physicality here. But if Houston can't execute at the line, then you got to start looking in other areas.
Packy Witkowski whistled for his first. Houston good on the first free throw. Into the game back for the Bears is Jason Frazier, as well as Madison Maloney. They're going to replace Sean Graydock and Witkowski. Houston rattles out. Those Brown and Plofker gyms can be a grueling gauntlet to navigate through. Trust me, Joey, I've been shooting on these rims since freshman year.
Isaiah Thomas has been here too, Avi.
Martin poked that away. Drummond comes all the way into the backcourt to save it. We are under 2 minutes remaining now in the opening half of this NEWMAC playoff game. 7 seconds to shoot. Drummond back out to Frazier. A deep three. No, that never hit the rim. And Ben Allen gets right in there and forces the jump ball. There's 1 second left on the shot clock. It will stay Coast Guard ball.
Emerson not making anything easy for the Bears. They don't necessarily have a go-to scorer out there.
They lob inside to Perez. He turns and shoots. Misses. Houston the rebound, and another big stop for the Lions. Davis down the court. Hands to O'Connor. And Curley shouting out instructions for his team as they look at the free throw line. A three on the other end. There goes Davis. And the Lions take the lead. Meanwhile, in the second quarter, the Emerson women's team, they trail by 7 to Smith, 42-35. Here, however, the men's team, they lead by 2 with a minute 14 to go in the first half. And a timeout on the court.
Yeah,
Coast Guard is reeling after a couple of made shots from Max Davis.
And they don't like the way this game is trending right now. Javi, we talked about it. All I thought Emerson really would have been trying to do before halftime is stay about where they were, but now they're heating up. They've taken the lead. If they can go into halftime with a lead, with Waterhouse and O'Connor being limited in this first half, as we said, they've got to be feeling great about what they're capable of in the second half.
Well, Waterhouse has hardly even seen the court. Curley yanked him with 2 fouls. He wants him for the second half. Without much involvement from Waterhouse, this is they're winning. They're winning without him. He's going to be a big piece of the second half, but the real story has been Jared Houston and how they're trying to feed him in the post. He's gone to the line. He's taken 6 free throws, but he's only made 1 of them.
Yeah, but it goes beyond scoring with Houston today. 7 points for him, but also 9 rebounds and 3 assists. So Houston doing a little bit of everything for the Lions, and they've needed it. It's got them ahead.
Frazier on the outside, looking for Baldes. Martin guarding him. Valdez, wraparound pass right to the wrong team. O'Connor intercepts that.
You see the experience of O'Connor there as Davis pulls it.
A heat check shot. Max Davis shrugging. They can't seem to guard him as the freshman has been the story in this first half. He's been electric every time he's been in the game.
Yeah, he had 20 against the Bears on Saturday, as there he is again getting the steal.
Davis goes against Frazier, lays it in. Max Davis cut it out as the 2-3 zone defense works to perfection. A fast break opportunity that Davis cashes in.
Yeah, and look at that length on the front line with Martin and Davis. There's no passing lanes for the Bears when you got those two at the top of your 2-3 zone.
And you got Houston down low commanding the defense as the anchor. Valdez will dribble this one out. There's less of a second between the shot clock and game clock. As Witkowski crosses over on Davis. His three is missed. Davis the rebound. He's still got a couple seconds left. 2 seconds. Davis lets it fly. Banks it in. Max Davis. He banks it in at the buzzer. Oh my! Max Davis has taken over the Brown and Plofker gym, and the Lions go into the half up by 10.
And Avi, when you're hot, you're hot. Davis with, I believe, 10 points in the last 2 minutes or so there of this first half. Emerson up by double digits. Avi, if I told you 3 minutes ago Emerson would be up 10 heading into halftime, you would have said I was crazy. But Davis putting the team on his back, Emerson's got a 10-point lead as a result.
You know, Joey, I had a sneaky feeling that was going to go in. It looked good the entire time, and he hit it right on the box. I got to see that again. Max Davis, that will count at the buzzer. 13 points in the first half. He flings it, and that will count right in the center of the backboard. Oh my goodness.
And that was one of those two, as you see here, he let it go with like 2 seconds on the shot clock. He had some time to get some more space in there, but it didn't matter. He put it up from way beyond the half-court line, gets it to go anyways.
He looked stunned. He was looking around to make sure, hey, that really happened? Did that really just happen? And I think everybody here in the gym is wondering, did that just happen? Oh my goodness. Momentum has swung all the way to the Emerson Lions. Wow.
The fans are loving it.
Whew.
Emerson shooting 50% at halftime. Coast Guard only at 31.4%. Emerson's efficiency really leading the way.
An exciting first half. It concludes with an exciting finish. 43-33, the Lions lead the Bears. We'll be back for the second half. back at the Bobby Brown and Stephen Plofker Gymnasium here in Boston, Massachusetts, where it's halftime of this NEWMAC playoff matchup between the Coast Guard Bears and the Emerson Lions here right in the heart of the Boston Common. Score at the half, 43-33, Emerson leading Coast Guard at the break. Avi Kargloth here with Joey Dubois. Joey, this has been quite a first half. A couple of guys really stepping up for the Lions. One of them ended it with a bang. His name is Max Davis.
Yeah, Max Davis, you can't say enough about what he's done. 20 points in the game against Coast Guard on Saturday, so I guess we should have seen this coming, but he's got 13 in the first half alone, 3 of which coming at the buzzer in a shot that we won't we won't forget in a long, long, long time. We will remember that one, that's for sure. Davis 13, Nate Martin right behind him with 9 points as well, but as you said, Davis causing problems defensively as well. As you see him here on the break, going up strong, using that length to his advantage. He's been called for a foul early on, but he was not afraid as the half went on.
Davis has been a spark plug throughout this game. He's fit well in the transitional game, and of course this shot here, he called bank. I heard it, and it went right in. He's just standing around. He didn't know who to look for. As his teammates are jumping around, that's going to be all over the airwaves here at Emerson College. Meanwhile, Davis, he was not the only guy doing things for the Lions. Nate Martin had a lot to say in that first half. He impacted the game well.
Yeah, 9 points and also 3 assists, so Martin doing his fair share to facilitate. And Avi, if I told you that at halftime of this game, Jack O'Connor and Zach Waterhouse would combine for 2 points and the Lions would be up by 10 points, you would have told me I was crazy. Well, but you can't give enough credit to Davis and Martin for what they've done.
Well, it's because of these kind of plays. Martin has cashed in on his looks. When he's efficient, that's when he's at his most dangerous. Jared Houston as well. He's only 3 of 4 from the field, but he's gotten fouled a lot. He's gone to the free throw line. He's caused some problems. This game has needed to slow down a little bit for the Lions, and it did at the right time. Getting him at the free throw line was crucial. He's got to make those, though.
Yeah, and you've seen that Houston's presence alone just causes problems for the Bears. The stat sheet doesn't tell the whole story with him, but we'll see if he can expand on that in the second half.
Big game here so far as the Lions, they're really across the board for the most part taking this one. They're shooting more efficiently from deep. They're shooting more efficiently from the floor. Rebounds are similar. But, Joey, we talked about this a little bit before the game. In terms of assists, the ball movement has consistently been there for the Lions throughout the entire first half. They got 13 assists.
Yeah, the Lions known for their unselfishness. You got 3 guys with 3 assists, Martin, Houston, and O'Connor. Everyone is looking to get their teammates into it, and we talked to O'Connor a lot about the team chemistry that these guys have, and it's so clear that they all want each other to exceed just as much as they want to succeed individually, and it's on full display here tonight with that huge assist advantage over the Bears.
43-33, Lions lead the Bears at half. We'll be back shortly for the second half. Don't go anywhere. back at the Bobby Brown and Stephen Plofker Gymnasium here on Emerson Channel Sports. NEWMAC playoff matchup. The Emerson Lions and the Coast Guard Bears. And we're just about set to get started with half number 2. Avi Kargaloth alongside Joey Dubois. Joey, the end of that first half definitely took my breath away. But the entire half as a whole, capture what that first half was like as the momentum really shifted from one team to the next.
Well, as you guys saw at the beginning of this broadcast, we had a chance to talk with Jack O'Connor yesterday, and I asked him about the resiliency of this team, and he said that they really pride themselves on their ability to bounce back when they are down. And they were losing by about 5, I think, at the lowest point early on in this one, but they kept fighting, they kept clawing back, even without O'Connor and Zach Waterhouse for extended periods in that first half. And now that they've got the lead, it's just a matter of keeping that momentum going.
I believe they were down 7 in the opening minutes, 10-3, and they now lead by double digits. And they immediately go to Waterhouse in the post, give him a quick shot, and it rattles home. Zach Waterhouse right into the game and right onto the score sheet.
Yeah, scoreless first half, but they wanted to change that quickly here, and now he's got that cat off his back. He's ready to go.
Bounce pass in the corner to Perez, who got O'Connor to jump. Drummond gives to Witkowski, hoists up a 3. Back rim goes right to Baldez, up and under, and he gets fouled.
And good job by the Lions there, not making it easy on Baldez. That rebound just fell right into his lap, but they'll make him earn the points from the line.
Nate Martin called for the personal foul. That's his first. And Noah Baldez going to the free throw line. He was the story in the first half for Coast Guard. 11 points and 7 rebounds. He was 3 of 5 from the floor, and he made 5 of his 6 free throws in the first half. A big, big player for Coast Guard. Along with him, Garrett Drummond, another 7 points. They got a couple of big scoring performances in that first half from their guards.
And that's big for them because their star player, Packy Witkowski, hasn't really gotten it done in the scoring department himself. Only 3 points for him on 1 of 8 from the field, 1 of 4 from deep. So it's big for the Bears to have these other guys stepping up.
Baldez hits both free throws to give him 13 points. He's 7 of 8 shooting. Martin had it blocked from behind. I believe that was Baldez who got a hand on that. Witkowski goes the other way, goes right at McLean, and McLean holds steady. A great defensive play in transition.
Witkowski had the strength advantage there, but McLean stayed strong himself and made it difficult for Witkowski.
O'Connor out of Houston. They're looking to feed Waterhouse in the post. Swing pass to the opposite corner. A catch and shoot 3. Missed by O'Connor.
And he just still hasn't gotten it going yet for the Lions, but they're still holding a double-digit lead.
Kane, the trailer, he misses a 3, now sporting a black headband after leaving the game in the opening minutes with a bloody head injury. He came back in well. A nice pump fake from Martin, but missed. Houston scrapping for the offensive glass, and a foul will reward his efforts.
Yeah, when Houston is active down there and getting off the floor, you really can't out-rebound him. No one in the NEWMAC can match his blend of size and athleticism. You saw it there, drawing the foul.
Packy Witkowski whistled for the personal foul. That's his second. Sean Graydock is back in the game for the Bears. Houston on an island. He goes baseline, and his layup was just left short.
Tough one there for Houston, but seeing him putting on the floor like that is encouraging.
Drummond lost it, got it back, stripped, but a foul. An aggressive defensive sequence, and that foul is going to go against the big fella, Jared Houston. Yep, he got him with the right arm there. Houston picks up his second foul, and the foul numbers will be important as we approach the final minutes in the second half. Baldez trying to get a foul, misses, and Houston and McLean were close to him, and McLean last touched the ball. When you're in the student section, Joey, you're right up close to the action. And these Emerson students are a part of the game now with Coast Guard shooting on their basket as a 3 made by Justin Kane.
Yeah, Kane is their big guy, but he is capable of stretching it out deep. 32.9% from three-point range this year. All 5 guys out there for the Bears can spread the floor.
O'Connor, a pick and roll with Houston. On the baseline, rattles it home. The pick and pop. Excuse me, not the pick and roll.
And if he gets that shot going from right down there as Emerson gets a turnover, Houston will be impossible to guard.
Down the court, Martin. He'll slow it up. And now feed Houston. Kane overplayed him and got the steal. Drummond with the right hand banks it in right against McLean. Back and forth we go.
And that is a big sequence there for the Bears. If Emerson managed to get to Houston, could have been an automatic 2.
O'Connor, his shot missed and he tipped it right back in. Flex on him, Mr. O'Connor. The Lions lead by 9.
And you can see that frustration helping the Lions now as O'Connor missed that other shot, but he chased right after it and got it to go.
Kane drives hard. Finds a man in the corner. That's Graydock. And Sean Graydock hits a big 3 in front of the Coast Guard bench. The Coast Guard faithful here are making their presence felt, supporting their guys after each make.
And only 1 player on the Coast Guard team from Massachusetts, so a lot of these Coast Guard fans traveling a significant distance to be here to see their Bears tonight.
McLean. Martin feeds Waterhouse. Swings to the opposite corner. O'Connor, 6 seconds to shoot. McLean looks at the shot clock, fires a 3, got it! Trevor McLean holds the pose a little longer, and the Lions respond with a 3 of their own.
And McLean's stats will never tell the whole story with this guy. He makes the shots when they matter the most.
Kane blocked by the rim, but a foul is going to be called, and Houston doesn't like it. That's 3 on Houston.
Yeah, 2 quick ones in this half, and now he's sitting at 3 fouls. Not time to panic, but you definitely got to get him out of there as Ben Holding will check in.
As Trevor McLean with a hand in his face knew the shot clock and buries it. I don't even think that touched the rim as he has his hand in the cookie jar, hitting that 3 just about 4 minutes into the second half. And Kane misses the free throw. And Ben Holding will check into the game with Houston checking out with 3 personal fouls. And that's going to be a big number to look at as we approach the final minutes. The Lions still lead by 9. And it's cut to 8 with the free throw as Kane splits the pair.
And we really saw the Lions starting to heavily lean on Houston down low. Now that he's on the bench, they'll have to take a different approach. You got to think a lot of it will run through O'Connor.
Martin on the wing. A screen back to Martin. A step back shot on the baseline. No. A rebound to Baldez. That's his 8th rebound. And he lost it. He couldn't control the ball on the leash. Waterhouse gives. Martin fires. Martin hits. Nate Martin from way downtown.
Martin 3 of 4 from three-point land, exactly what the Lions have needed today.
Drummond drives and scores again. He's hit a couple of those driving on McLean.
And Drummond is creative when he gets down low and leaves his feet. You see there the double clutch and he gets it to fall.
3 from Waterhouse, no. Last touch by O'Connor, and the referee will get overruled. It was last touch by Coast Guard.
Yeah, good call there from the ref on the side, correcting that one. It'll get the Lions an extra possession.
Timeout on the court, just about 5 minutes into the second half. Emerson 55, Coast Guard 46. Back in the heart of the theater district here in Boston, Massachusetts. for a NEWMAC playoff matchup between the number 4 seeded Emerson Lions and the number 5 seeded Coast Guard Bears. The Lions lead by 9 here in the opening minutes of the second half. Jack O'Connor, only 4 points in this game. He inbounds the ball to Waterhouse, who thought he got fouled. The ball gets pushed out of bounds, and it will stay Emerson ball. Head coach Kevin Jaskowitz telling his guys to grab the ball. And Jaskowitz, Joe, he's been here a while. This is his 11th season. He was an assistant coach here previously at Brown University. He's been around the block.
Yeah, Jaskowitz has seen a lot of guys come through this program, and this is definitely a good opportunity for them making the playoffs this year as Perez finishes on the other end.
Max Davis, the hero of that first half. He's in the game out of this timeout. And Waterhouse getting the instructions from Curley. The seniors with a pick and roll here between O'Connor and Holding. Give up to Waterhouse. Martin from the right elbow. Back iron missed it. Rebound to Drummond.
That's a tough shot from Martin there with plenty of time still on the shot clock. You'd like to see him move that around more.
Drummond fights up a tough layup, and he gets it to go. Garrett Drummond has played some great minutes for Coast Guard.
He's giving up 6 inches on Davis there, but he finishes strong through it anyways, up to 13 points on the night now.
And with Jared Houston on the bench, the lead has been cut to 5. And a whistle and a foul as they were looking for O'Connor. Baldez fouled him. That's the first foul on Noah Baldez.
And Emerson held Coast Guard to only 33 points in that first half, but 17 for the Bears in these first 6 minutes of the second half. Emerson's got to tighten up defensively as this half goes on.
Holding, he shuffled his shoes, and traveling will turn the ball over back to the Bears. A critical stretch for the Lions as they're playing without Jared Houston. Coast Guard has cut into their lead, which was 10 at halftime. It is now 5. Perez looking for a cutter, finds Baldez. Back to Perez, thought about a 3. Fakes, ducks under Davis and misses. Martin is fouled on the rebound.
Martin almost had a tough fall there coming down from getting up for that board, but luckily the referees see it, call the foul.
As you see, number 32, Tyler Perez, grab him with the the right arm. James Beckwith back in for the Lions. In the game for Coast Guard is JT Cox replacing Perez.
And Emerson's got 4 guys out there right now who can really handle the ball in Waterhouse, Davis, Beckwith, and O'Connor. A lot of options offensively.
And then, of course, you got the senior Ben Holding on the floor. Waterhouse from the baseline. Good again. Zach Waterhouse has 4 points. Drummond drives, and another banking shot. He's done that quite a few times, and he's Coast Guard's leading scorer now with 15 points.
Drummond fearless down low. We see it again. He's creative. He's finding those open lanes.
Davis guarded by Cox. Well, you know his range is from half court. He finds O'Connor, who missed it. And Beckwith nearly came down with the rebound. A 2-on-1 fast break. Baldez, great bounce pass to Cox. He missed the layup.
And that's how you draw up a 2-on-1 fast break, but Cox just couldn't get that layup to go.
There goes Waterhouse driving, missing with the right hand. He wanted a foul and again didn't get it. Baldez, bounce pass, Graydock, and a foul. And Sean Graydock will be going to the free throw line for the first time tonight.
Back and forth this game goes. Emerson getting a well-earned break here for a second on these free throws. Maybe that's why you kind of foul there, just to slow the game down a little bit and put Graydock on the line for 2.
Foul called on Jack O'Connor. That's his 3rd personal. As Graydock gets the bounce on the free throw. Coming back into the game is Packy Witkowski replacing Kane. And Ben Holding, with some instruction from Curley, heads to the bench as the other Ben on this team, Ben Allen, comes in.
So Emerson with a small 5 out there right now. Closest thing to a big head they've got is O'Connor, but he'll even bring up the ball here. So very guard-heavy lineup for Emerson as they double down on the offense.
Head coach Bill Curley keeping O'Connor in the game with 3 fouls. And Davis gets bumped A foul. That's going to go against JT Cox. That's his third.
And Coast Guard just quietly chipping away at this lead. It's down to a 3-point game now. That shot's no good either.
Davis, his three was short. Drummond coming the other way. Goes at James Beckwith, and again, Garrett Drummond continues to get layups, not jumpers, layups, Joey.
Yeah, Drummond listed at 5'10", and he's finishing in the paint every time, and the 6'6" Jack O'Connor misses on the other end.
O'Connor missed. Ben Allen's putback missed. Waterhouse, Davis, driving hard as Allen, he will go to the line. A lot of second chance opportunities, and this is without Jared Houston on the court, as Packy Witkowski called for another foul.
Yeah, a lot of frustration there from the Lions, and they let it go on a few offensive rebounds, and Allen up 2 from the line after this break.
Emerson leads by 1. Coast Guard keeping it close, under 12 minutes to go in the second half. The Emerson Lions lead by 1 with under 12 minutes to go in the second half. It was a 10-point lead at halftime, but now the Coast Guard Bears have come all the way back to make this a 1-point game. They've outscored Emerson 23-14 so far. Jared Houston is back in the game for the Lions. And Ben Allen is at the free throw line where his first drips off the rim.
Yeah, the Lions really started causing some turnovers at the end of that first half. They got 11 points off turnovers in the last couple of minutes, but here in the second half, no turnovers yet for Coast Guard. Emerson's got to get back to that aggressive defense and trying to get out in transition.
Allen misses both free throws. An update from the women's playoff game. They trail in the third quarter by 5. A close game there as well. We will keep you updated on that game as we get information on it. Meanwhile, Graydock has the ball in the quarter now. Finds Justin Kane. Witkowski swings it to Drummond. Drummond drives, goes right up against Allen, and he banks it in, and the Coast Guard Bears have come back to take the lead.
And Drummond just over and over inside, getting it to go no matter how tough the defensive pressure is.
Waterhouse shadowed by Baldez. Waterhouse for 3, no. Allen the offensive rebound. And second chance opportunities have been keeping the Lions in this one. Allen feeds Houston, going up against Kane. Puts down the left shoulder and scores with the right hand. The student section flexing after Houston's made shot.
Yeah, that's really all you can do after that. That's just a big boy move from Houston down low to give Emerson the lead and slow this game back down a tiny bit.
Up top, as Coast Guard keeps moving it around the perimeter, a 3 from Witkowski. Houston the rebound. The Lions have been controlling the glass well here in the second half. That ball poked away from Waterhouse, and it will stay Lions ball as Baldez dove for that loose ball right in front of the Emerson bench. This is a playoff game for sure, Joey.
Yeah, Baldez seeming to be the heart and soul of this team, and you see it once again there, laying out for it. Still Emerson possession there.
Entry pass Houston. Up against Kane again. Finds Davis in the corner, and he stepped out of bounds. There's not a lot of room in that corner, and a turnover for Emerson.
And you saw Packy Witkowski all the way over there to help on Houston. Houston forced to give it up quick. Davis just a little too close to that line there, like you said, but now we're starting to see some of those changes being made by the Bears.
Drummond inside to Kane. Kane, short, got his own miss. A 3 in the corner from Graydock, no. And a great rebound from Waterhouse. He took that away from Witkowski. Down the other end, Allen. And he traveled. Ben Allen couldn't get himself planted quickly enough, and the ball goes back to the Bears.
And Emerson's getting opportunities here to extend this lead and open it back up to double digits, but time and time again, they're just making little mistakes like we saw right there.
Jack O'Connor back in the game, replacing Ben Allen, and Jason Frazier in the game for the Bears, replacing Sean Graydock. Another 2-3 zone employed by the Lions. There goes Drummond. He got blocked. You can't go around Houston. And a shrug from Kevin Jaskowitz. A 3 from O'Connor. No. And it got knocked out of bounds by Kane.
And Drummond's been finishing strong inside time and time again, but he has not yet been challenged down there by Houston. And there you see what happens when the big man meets him at the rim. No way on that one. But now on the other end, Emerson looking once again to extend this lead. O'Connor will inbound.
After that play with the Houston block, Jaskowitz, all he could do was shrug. And down the other way goes Houston, bakes it in. A lot of flexing down low from the Lions today as they lead by 3.
And I think there's a lot of shrugging from coaches when you're playing Houston, Avi. It's just really tough to stop him.
Not too many guys as big as Houston in this conference. The reason why he's the top shot blocker and top shooter from the floor. Frazier for the tie, missed it. And a one-handed rebound from Jared Houston, giving the student section something to love. O'Connor now will settle into the offense. Waterhouse, entry pass to Houston, fights it up, wave off the basket, and an offensive foul. Houston is livid as Justin Kane took the brunt of that beating. A bang call down low. What do you think, Joey?
I hate to be biased here, Avi, but I gotta go in favor of Houston on that one. I think that's just that strength again, and at some point you just can't really do anything about it. Houston is the strongest guy out there on the court, and it's not really even close, but as a result of that, you'll get some bad calls against you once in a while, I guess.
Well, just under 9 minutes to go. That's the 4th foul on Houston. One more, and he's done for the day. He gets subbed out for Ben Holding. Drummond driving, stopping, intercepted by Waterhouse, and he gets fouled quickly. And we know what might have happened if Waterhouse got loose on the break.
And that is such a veteran move by Valdez there, and you really can't overstate how important that was, because like you said, Avi, if Waterhouse gets that open lane, he throws one down maybe, this whole crowd is into it, and maybe Coast Guard can't get back into this one, but that foul seems like a small play on the surface, but it keeps this one really in Coast Guard's hands.
Sean Graydock back in the game for Frazier. And that foul on Valdez was his 2nd. Off a screen, O'Connor looking for Holding. He fakes, drives in the lane, drops it off to Holding, and a foul, a blocking foul called on Justin Kane.
And it's hard to stop O'Connor in that pick and roll. We know how good of a passer he is, and he can finish at the rim as well. And that one, while it is on the floor, will get the Lions in the bonus. O'Connor will get a 1-and-1 out of it.
And that's only the first foul on Kane, as head coach Curley is keeping his guys engaged. Coach Curley, of course, had a legendary career at Boston College. As O'Connor misses a 3, he took the 1994 team to the Elite Eight and was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, played in the NBA for 7 years, and has developed a great program so far here at Emerson. His team leading by 3.
Yeah, a lot of talented guys on this team, as Drummond called for the travel there. And you got to think Curley's experience both in the NCAA and a little bit in the NBA there has a huge impact on guys wanting to come play for him.
Another stop for Emerson. O'Connor bringing the ball up for the Lions. And he's staying out there with 3 fouls. Here goes Davis. And his shot gets the friendly bounce. Kevin Jaskowitz jumping up and down, trying to get called for an offensive foul. The student section loving the animated head coach.
Yeah, Davis definitely uses his length to his advantage as Drummond once again from deep.
Garrett Drummond, just his 2nd 3-pointer of the game, but he's made both of his attempts and is the leading scorer as Valdez took that away from Holding. And Davis deflected that to stop the transition.
And every time it seems like the Lions are about to pull away, and this one, the Bears strike right back and keep it close. That's why we're only sitting at a 2-point game.
63-61, Lions edging the Bears by 2 with just under 7.5 to play. Back in Boston, where Emerson leads Coast Guard by 2, just under 7.5 minutes to play in this game. As we've gotten a couple of contributions from a few players. Max Davis hitting the last shot, obviously an incredible first half, punctuated by that half-court shot. Jared Houston has been getting some work here in the second half, and of course Garrett Drummond with 22 points leading the way for Coast Guard. Justin Kane for 3, and the Bears retake the lead.
And Kane has battled through that injury very well so far. He's got a double-double now on the day, 11 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists.
O'Connor shaking, driving, and hitting. Jack O'Connor, he's been there, he's done that. He is cool and calm going to the hoop.
It's about that time when O'Connor heats up and leads these Lions down the stretch. We'll see if he can do the same here tonight.
Valdez working on Davis, behind the back, kick out to Drummond, another 3. Garrett Drummond screaming in frustration, and the Bears go up by 2.
Drummond only averaging 7.9 points on the year. He's got 25 tonight, easily the best game of the year for him, and it's come at the biggest stage.
About 6.5 minutes remain. O'Connor guarded by Kane. Gives it to Davis on the left wing. Not that time. The rebound goes to Martin. And a new 20 seconds put up on the shot clock. Offensive rebounds have been a big part of this game. O'Connor shuffled his shoes. A turnover as he was working on the smaller Drummond. And Kevin Jaskowitz letting his players know every time what's going on.
And a big height advantage there for O'Connor. You could tell he just couldn't wait to get to the hoop. A couple of steps along the way.
Trevor McLean back in the game, replacing Davis. The Lions are in the bonus, so any fouls by Coast Guard result in Emerson free throws. Kane going hard with the left hand, missed it. Great defense from Holding. Waterhouse the other way, and he got fouled. That's Graydock. He took a shot, and Coast Guard wanted the foul call. Kevin Jaskowitz, again, I have seen a few coaches, Joey, come to the Brown and Plofker to coach against the Lions. None have I seen wants the call every time more than Kevin Jaskowitz.
Yeah, he might have a case on that one there. You saw Waterhouse's elbow way up, but still blocking foul called against Graydock. I think that one could have gone either way.
Zach Waterhouse will head to the free throw line, won the Rookie of the Year award last year. Packy Witkowski replaces Graydock.
And Witkowski only 1 of 10 on the day, but we just heard Coach Jaskowitz telling him 1 shot, that's all you need to get you going. So definitely Witkowski will be a focal point of the offense down the stretch for the Bears, even though he hasn't really executed so far today.
Waterhouse hits the first on a 1-and-1. He's a 64.4% free throw shooter on the season. While you got Kevin Jaskowitz on one end, head coach Curley has been relatively quiet in this game. He's been barking instructions to his team, but not towards the referees for most of this one.
Not at all, but he really hasn't had much to complain about, Avi. Not a lot of controversial calls going against the Lions.
We are tied with under 6 minutes to go, and that is broken up right there by Tyler Perez, who hits a 3. He's got 10 for the game. 4 players have scored in double figures for the Bears. O'Connor back to Holding, and a traveling on Waterhouse. I thought they were going to call a moving screen on Holding, but a turnover nonetheless.
And that is a huge call against the Lions. Gives Coast Guard a chance to make this a double-digit game.
Garrett Drummond bringing the ball up now for Coast Guard. Perez back to Drummond. Spinning, Martin poked that free, but it went right to Valdez.
And that is just an unlucky break there. Great help defense by Martin to come over and tip that one away, but Valdez saw it coming. Another veteran move from him.
Martin finds some space, drives, double clutches, and his layup falls off the rim. Free throws coming from Nate Martin.
Emerson really wanted that one to fall, but they'll take the free throws, and hopefully Martin can execute.
And Martin had a strong start to this game. He found a lane and a lot more spacing with Houston off the court as Martin knocks down the first. We're now under 5 minutes to go. I'd say this qualifies as crunch time, would you say?
Absolutely, Avi, and that's got me thinking, when is Coach Curley going to put Jared Houston back out there? He's got 4 fouls, but the guy has 13 points and 14 rebounds on the day. He's been absolutely dominant, and you need him in down the stretch. Just a matter of when you feel comfortable putting him back out there with those 4 fouls.
Martin hits 2 big free throws. It's a 3-point game. Drummond on the outside. Now Valdez working on McLean. Back out to Kane. An open look from 3, and he missed it. Rebound, took an awkward bounce, and it ends up in the hands of Zach Waterhouse.
Yeah, and wide open look for Kane there, and a huge miss for the Lions. Now they have a chance to cut into this lead or even tie it.
O'Connor backs up. A deep 3 to tie. No. Witkowski, the rebound. He has made his impact felt. Even without scoring, that's his 8th rebound. Here comes Valdez. Kane, Perez. Perez going all the way wide open. And Jaskowitz jumping again, looking for another foul. A 5-point lead now for Coast Guard.
Yeah, Perez got a step there and all the way to the rack.
O'Connor shimmies. Gets to his spot, missed it, got his own miss, put it back up and in. Jack O'Connor with a big putback, and again, it's a 3-point game. O'Connor's got 8. Drummond delivers, Perez fires. That would have been a big shot had that gone in.
And a huge box out from Holding there, and O'Connor flies in to get the rebound.
O'Connor to tie. No, it rolled out. And Valdez throws it down the court to Kane. And he missed the reverse layup. A huge miss. And Kane came down awkwardly. Kane is limping down the court. Meanwhile, Martin the other way for 3. Got it! Nate Martin has tied the game. And an injury timeout by the referees.
And you hate to see a guy get injured, especially Kane, who cut his head earlier in the game as well. But Emerson, when you've got that 5-on-4 advantage, you need to take advantage of it. And they found Martin for the 3 there, and we're tied up.
What a game. Under 3 minutes to go. Kane, an awkward plant on this reverse layup, just missing, and the pressure from O'Connor the other way. Helping that out as a little bit of contact with O'Connor there also definitely impacted that, but Justin Kane, the toughness has been there. He had a bloody head in the opening minutes. He came back with a different jersey number, had a headband on then after having to leave the game earlier with another bloody injury. Now he's coming down awkwardly. With all that, we've got a tied playoff game under 3 minutes to go. Nate Martin has 17 points. He's hit 4 of 5 threes. Whoa.
Yeah, and Avi,
there's a lot to unpack there.
There is a lot, and this gym last year, I gotta say, it was more electric than it is in here right now. But with a tie game just under 3 minutes to go, this is the time for these fans to get into it and give these Lions the boost that they might need to get over the hump and come away with the W here.
Joey, definitely a lot of nervous energy A lot of energy from both the Coast Guard and Emerson faithful. A clash of two very passionate fan bases. This is what NEWMAC playoff basketball is about. Win or lose, it has been a treat to call this game.
Absolutely, Avi. And we just got to hope that we see a tremendous finish to what's been a tremendous game.
So here comes Valdez off the timeout, and he gets fouled. That'll be big depending on who it's on. Yep, that's on Jack O'Connor. That's his fourth.
At this point, though, you have no choice but to keep him out there, as now you'll see the other guy with 4 fouls, Jared Houston, checking in as well. This is the home stretch of this game. Emerson needs their best 5 out there to try to come away with the win.
So 2:48 remain on the clock. Noah Valdez at the free throw line, where he is 7 of 8 tonight. Knocks down the first. Justin Kane is right back in the game, replacing Tyler Perez. And meanwhile, Jared Houston is back in the game, replace Ben Holding. So the starters are out for the Lions. Their season is on the line. And this is the lineup they're going to close with, down 1, with one more free throw coming from Valdez. And he gets both to go. Valdez has been great tonight with 17 points, 9 of 10 at the free throw line. The Lions trail by 2, and Jack O'Connor has the ball in his hands. He finds Houston, who gets doubled, and he got fouled. Drummond was trying to swipe that ball away, but he got a little too much skin, and he will get called for the foul. That's his second.
And Houston will get 2, as that is the 10th foul against Coast Guard. 2 free throws the rest of the way for the Lions. They haven't been too hot from there today. 6 of 14, only 42.9%. Now is the time to start hitting.
Houston's first falls off the rim. And Tyler Perez comes back in, replacing J.T. Cox. 2:34 left. One more free throw coming for Houston. You can feel the tension in the air as Houston gets the bounce on the second. And for this defensive possession, he'll quickly get subbed out for Ben Holding. That chess match ensuing between Curley and Jaskowitz.
Yeah, both coaches sitting with a few timeouts, so they will have the opportunity to call these and have that chess match play out, as you said, Avi.
Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Valdez the other way. Now to Kane. Packy Witkowski on the perimeter now. Their top scorer coming into this game has been quiet so far. He lost the ball, dribbled it off his foot. He saves it, gets a double team right at him, gives to Drummond. 8 seconds to shoot. Kane for 3. Short. Witkowski with the putback. Packy Witkowski, a huge offensive rebound, and a quick timeout called by Coach Curley.
And Emerson really defended that one about as well as you can, even leaving Kane open for a 3. They were lucky that he missed it, but then the ball falls right into Witkowski's lap to get only a second basket of the day at a crucial time.
2:03 remain in this ball game. Coast Guard by 3. Nobody has left the building by any stretch of the imagination. Emerson outscored Coast Guard 43-33 in the first half, and Coast Guard's responded with a strong second half. Emerson, the women's team, they trail with 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, 68-64 to Smith, a team they beat right here. But at Smith, a different story. They're hanging in there, hoping that the Emerson Lions can pull a double duty and snag 2 playoff wins on this Wednesday night, shortly before our student body will go home for spring break.
Yeah, and Avi, Coach Curley faces a difficult decision down the stretch here. The go-to guy time and time again has been Jack O'Connor, but he is only 4 of 16 on the night, 0 of 7 from deep. Does he stick with him as the go-to guy down the stretch, or does he go with a guy like Nate Martin, who's got 17 on the day? It'll be very interesting to see who gets these touches.
Jared Houston is back in the game. O'Connor is looking for him in the post. And they will reset. O'Connor holds a screen from Houston. O'Connor working on Valdez. Got pushed. No foul called. And now one will be called on the rebound as Jared Houston will be going back to the free throw line. J.T. Cox called for the foul. Coast Guard wanted a 3 in the key and a 3-second violation.
Well, on that offensive rebound, the 3-second violation no longer applies, so Houston can camp down there as long as he wants when the shot goes up into the air.
So here comes Jared Houston at the free throw line. Rattles out on the first. And back in the game is Tyler Perez, replacing Justin Kane. And apparently that is not the substitution that Coast Guard wanted. A mix-up on the substitution pattern. Meanwhile, Houston once again hits the second, screams out in frustration. Holding comes back in. Again, Houston has 4 fouls. 2-point game. Valdez brings the ball up the court. The Lions apply some pressure. Perez catches it, and now Drummond will reset. The Bears will run some clock. Drummond. O'Connor watching him the whole way. A big defensive stop needed here for the Lions. Drummond, a wide open 3 from Cox. He missed it. And O'Connor grabs the rebound.
And that's knowing your personnel there from Holding. Holding knew that he could double down. He had confidence that Cox would not hit that shot. And the help there led to an open shot from Cox. Off the mark, Emerson with a big stop.
Coach Curley calls a 30-second timeout. 1:07 to go. It's a 2-point game. Coach Curley will sub in Max Davis coming into this next possession. A 2-point game. This might take a while to drag out. Coast Guard, they still have a handful of timeouts left. After this, Emerson still has 1 timeout remaining. Jared Houston, 15 points, 15 rebounds, and 4 assists, but he's made just 3 of his 10 free throws today. A big, big, big offensive possession coming now for the Emerson Lions. Their season is on the line. There is no tomorrow. There is just this possession. Waterhouse, Davis, Houston, O'Connor, and Martin, the lineup for Emerson. Cox, Valdez, Drummond, Kane, and Witkowski, the lineup for the Bears. And Davis inbounds into the backcourt. You can do that on the inbound as he finds Waterhouse. Now here is Jack O'Connor. Waterhouse, as they're looking to post up, O'Connor finding Houston. 9 seconds to shoot. Houston spins, misses the layup, and Witkowski the rebound. It just fell off the rim.
And you can't defend Houston any better than Kane did right there, forcing the miss, and Coast Guard with a big chance here to extend their lead.
Emerson needs a stop right here. Valdez in the backcourt. They're running as much clock as they can. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Martin shadowing Valdez. A screen up top from Kane. Valdez to the lane, up and under. Missed it. Rebound back to Valdez. Now to Drummond. Shot clock turned off. The Lions have to foul, and Martin will. Oof. The Coast Guard faithful standing and applauding, and the Brown and Pluffker has gotten a little quieter from the student section.
And that rebound just fell out of Emerson's hands right into Coast Guard, and they dribble around Emerson, even letting a few seconds trickle off the clock before fouling Valdez. Huge 1-and-1.
Makes the first. Valdez makes this a 3-point game. Timeout, Coach Curley. He will use his last timeout with 12.6 to go. And Noah Valdez will be going to the free throw line for 1 more.
And
what a turn of events.
Still with 12.6 up there on the clock, Curley will use his last time out. So if Valdez hits this, you might have to look for the 3 on the other end right away, foul, and then another 3, and there's no timeouts left for the Lions to do so. Coast Guard still has a few, but you got to think that they'll probably hold on to those and make Emerson play this one out from here on out.
A 3-point game. Valdez has 18 points and 10 rebounds. He's been terrific for Coast Guard. 4 of 8 from the floor, 10 of 11 from the free throw line, but it's his 12th free throw that will be the biggest of the night. And it was big that he made the first free throw. Going into your second free throw after missing your first, that can be a tricky situation. But regardless, Valdez will have 1 more coming. This might be the last time out of the season for the Emerson Lions, the defending NEWMAC champs, here on their home court.
Yeah, and looking at these team stats, Avi, we talked about a lot of advantages that either side have. A lot of those have balanced out as this game has gone on, but the free throws remain the big difference between these two teams. Coast Guard 14 of 18, Emerson 8 of 18. That's 6 points the Lions have left on the line compared to Coast Guard. Valdez will look to really pull ahead with this free throw here.
Here goes Valdez. Nothing but nylon. And a 30-second timeout called by Coast Guard. They still have 2 left, and this is a 4-point game with 12.6 seconds left. This game is not over. There's still a foul game to be played. The Lions will get another shot, and then if they make that shot, they'll likely need to foul again and play the free throw game.
And a very smart timeout call there by Coach Jaskowicz. It seems like Emerson on that last timeout, as we talked about, had kind of prepared for maybe this being the last time that they would huddle up, going over all these end-of-game plays, coming out ready to go, and then another timeout forces them to go over all that again, lose a little bit of that momentum, but maybe gives them a little extra time to prepare as well. We'll see how they respond.
So Emerson will have to inbound from the backcourt. It will be O'Connor inbounding. And he gives it to Martin. Martin will run up the court. Behind his back, he makes a tough bank shot. 6.7 seconds left.
And Emerson is still alive. No one lining up to inbound the ball.
And a timeout called by Coast Guard, a 30-second timeout, a good timeout from Kevin Jaskowicz, as Coast Guard wasn't ready, as Martin was losing control of the ball, and he was somehow able to fight it up and bank it in.
And obviously, ideally, Emerson would have loved to get a three-pointer there, but after Martin fumbles the ball a little on the way to the rack, the ability to finish and get 2 on the board and keep them alive is all they needed there. Now you're hoping for a steal on the inbound. If not, a quick foul. You got to hope that Coast Guard will miss maybe even the front end of this one-and-one. It'll still just be a one-and-one for them. So Emerson is still very much alive in this one, although Coast Guard would have to make a mistake in order to allow Emerson to come away with this one.
Well, here we go, 6.7 seconds. Perez will inbound. He is able to move on the inbound. He gives it into Valdez, and Valdez got fouled. He took a couple seconds off the clock.
Yeah, and that's the most important part of that play there, Avi. 6.7 on the inbound. Now we're sitting at 4.5. So even if Valdez misses one of these, you got to sprint down to the other end very quickly and get a shot off.
We have just received final score, 77-65. Smith College defeating the Emerson Lions in the women's NEWMAC tournament bracket, so their season is over. A great season from the Emerson women's team, and a great career from the seniors, Kate Fultz, Quinn Madden, and Natalie Clydesdale. All of them have left their mark on the program. Meanwhile, Valdez, he misses the free throw. Down the court to Davis. Max Davis to tie it! No! It was short at the buzzer, and that is how the game will end. And the season will end just short at the buzzer, as Max Davis, a 3 would have given the Lions the win. It came down to the buzzer, and the Coast Guard Bears will advance.
And you could see right away the relief on Valdez's face. He was 11 of 12 from the line. He's exactly the guy you want to send to the line with the game on the line there. He misses the front end, gives the Lions a chance, but Davis cannot get it to go. But Avi, we've talked about it. This team is young. This team will be back, but more than anything else, they will miss the seniors on this team, Jack O'Connor and Ben Holding.
What a way for the season to end. Max Davis just short on the three-point attempt. That game, the game would have been completely different had he made that shot. Davis was great. Martin was great. Houston had 15 and 15. It wasn't enough, though, as Emerson will conclude their NEWMAC title defense, losing in the play-in game.
Yeah, definitely not the way we wanted to see this season end, but a lot to take away from this game and a lot to look back on this year, and a lot to look back on over the past 4 years for O'Connor and Holding. With that being said, we'll take a look at our Emerson Channel Sports play of the game from here tonight.
Yeah, and these two teams were battling throughout, and obviously the play that everyone's going to be talking about, Max Davis launching that from almost three-quarters court to bank in a 3 at the buzzer, and he nearly had another one. It was just short. And Kevin Jaskowitz and the Coast Guard Bears able to come away with the win. A huge, huge three from Davis. But it comes in a losing effort, a behind-the-back heave, banking it in. And what a season it has been for the Emerson Lions. They fall just by 2 to the Coast Guard Bears.
And Avi, it feels like this program is still on the rise. Do not let this loss distract you. They won the NEWMAC last year, making a playoffs again, hosting a playoff game. They had never hosted a playoff game in the history before last year. Now 2 straight years hosting a playoff game. Obviously this one did not go the way it wanted to, but the momentum is still rising. The young guys are still improving, and believe me, the Emerson Lions will be back next year.
The underclassmen have definitely played well, and Coach Curley is definitely keeping this team engaged, and there's going to be a lot of returning players next year. Martin, Waterhouse, Houston, McLean. That class in particular has been a big impact really throughout their entire time here. These guys have fought hard all year, and it has been a pleasure to watch them and call their games. These guys have fought hard, they really have, and it's sad to see, but somebody has to lose. That's what makes sports so great. There's a winner, there's a loser. Just the way that it ended today was so heartbreaking.
Absolutely, Avi, but you got to think that losses like this, it makes a team go one of 2 ways. They can either fold when they come out next year, or this can only make them even stronger. And I got to hope that it's the second option for these Emerson Lions. This will leave a mark on them. They never had lost in this way before, a lot of these young guys, at least after winning the NEWMAC last year. Now they know what it feels like to lose, and hopefully that motivates them even more coming into next season.
Well, Coast Guard, they will be on their way to Springfield to take on the Pride in the next round of the NEWMAC playoffs. That is the season for the Emerson men's basketball team. I'm Avi Kargloth, Joey Dubois, and for everybody here at Emerson Channel Sports, thank you all so much for watching. Parents, relatives, friends, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next year.